A very warm welcome to TV47 updates on this 26th day of September 2022, a day that has seen President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua flagging off relief food to drought-stricken areas in the country. One of the many stories that we've lined up on our bulletin this afternoon. Now, with that said, my name is Dennis Otieno. I trust you're doing well. Welcome to the broadcast. Now, on to our top story this afternoon. President William Ruto has flagged off relief food to drought-stricken areas in the country. The president, who spoke moments ago, said that the government was releasing 50 trucks comprising of 20,000 bags of rice and beans and assorted animal feed together with cooking oil that will go to the various parts of the country facing serious challenge of drought. Take a look.
Animal feed together with cooking oil that will go to the various parts of our country that today are facing serious challenges of drought. 3.5 million citizens in the Republic of Kenya are today severely affected by drought, not to mention livestock and other areas that are affected by water, the absence of pasture in many parts of our country. Currently, we have 23 counties across the country that are suffering the very serious and severe effects of drought. To avert any untoward further suffering of citizens in these areas, I did ask my deputy to convene a meeting of governors and all the other stakeholders, and we now have a plan of action to build on the plan that existed before so that we can efficiently and expeditiously deal with the effects of drought in the various parts of our country. The brief that we have is that the many people who are suffering food, water, and many livelihoods, loss of many types of livelihoods, including livestock. As I have said, about 3.5 million Kenyans are affected in this manner. The food we are flagging up today, the next consignment, I have already agreed with the ministry concerned and with Treasury to make resources available so that the next tranche will be on Friday, and on a weekly basis we will assess the situation and see what this intervention will mean for the people around the country and what additionally can be done as we go into the future. I want to commend development partners who are working with us,
Remember, the relief food has been disbursed to 23 different counties within the country, and the 23 counties have been classified under 3 different clusters, namely the severe drought phase, the alert phase, as well as the normal drought phase. Now, in the severe drought phase, we have 10 counties, among them being Garissa, Laikipia, Tana River, Tharaka Nithi, Isiolo, Mandera, Turkana, Wajir, Samburu, and Marsabit. Now, in the second cluster, made up of 10 counties, that is the alert drought phase, we have Embu County, Kitui, Makueni, Meru, Narok, Nyeri, Taita Taveta, Kwale, and Kilifi. And in the final and third cluster, we have only 3 counties. That is the normal drought phase that is made up of Baringo County, West Pokot, as well as Lamu counties. Now, earlier, President William Ruto stated that the national government is working and coordinating with the county government in order to ensure that the calamity has been eradicated completely in the country. But moving on, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has invited governors of West Pokot, Turkana, Samburu, Laikipia, Baringo and Elgeyo Marakwet counties for a meeting tomorrow to discuss issues concerning cattle rustling and security in those areas. The call for the meeting follows an incident in which 11 people were killed on Saturday following a bandit attack in Turkana County blamed on cattle rustlers. Among the 11, 8 are police officers. Take a look.
We are inviting you for a meeting here tomorrow at 8:30 to discuss the security situation in that part of the country. And going forward, we are going to work together because it cannot be that governors have no say in security matters, yet they affect their own people. You know, this is a new paradigm shift in our governance, that we want a concerted effort by all leaders. And if we do, I think things will get better. So governors from those counties will invite you for a meeting with our officers on the ground who are handling security. There is the acting inspector general, the commandant GSU, so that we get to agree what we do in that part of the country that is causing a lot of concern. So I just wanted to mention that it is a new policy direction, that a continuous engagement between the county governments and the national government is the way to do things for the benefit of our people.
Meanwhile, police earlier today lobbed tear gas to disperse Azimio supporters who are accompanying their leaders to the IEBC headquarters to protest the interdiction of Deputy CEO Ruth Kulundu. Now, trouble began after the MPs and their supporters marched from Nairobi's Central Business District to Anniversary Towers, only to find the gates locked. Azimio leaders are now demanding the reinstatement of Kulundu, claiming she is being victimized for being a whistleblower at the commission. IEBC accuses Kulundu of insubordination and assisting the 4 IEBC commissioners who disputed election results at the Bomas of Kenya.
Kulundu amekuwa aro hapa Nairobi, amekuwa aro Siaya, akaonekana ni mfanyikazi mzuri, akapewa promotion kukua kwa commission. Kwa hivyo tunaomba Chebukati na timu yake wawache hizo cartelling wanafanya ndani ya hiyo ofisi. Na tutakuja hapa kila siku kuona kwamba haki za Madam Kulundu zimeonekana na pia vile vile arudishiwe kazi yake na endelee na kuhudumu kwa hiyo kazi. So sisi kama watu wa Western na mkoa wa Magharibi tumehuzunishwa, hatutakuona watoto wetu kifutwa kazi. Sisi tukiwa wajumbe kutoka Magharibi tuone tu tukinyamaza, hatutanyamaza.
The commission never sat down as a commission to deliberate on the issue of Ruth Kulundu. And the Secretariat Bajan cannot fire her deputy because the deputy is employed by the commission, not by Majan. I came out this morning to call out these people. But it looks like we are still where we were in 2007. We are ready for this. We are ready for this engagement. And we will do this engagement every day on the streets, if that is what it takes to liberate the space that we have to manage our elections prudently.
Now, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, in collaboration with other key stakeholders, including the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IPOA, and NCCK, on Monday launched the 2022 Elections Monitoring Report. The report has highlighted key findings, including the number of criminal cases among voters and election officials during the election period. The Commission also noted that the National Police Service was a key institution in delivering free and fair elections.
Launched the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights 2022 Election Report, Demystifying Our Economy. NCIC, the way there was a better, peacefuler environment. We've had it from IPOA, we've had it from the NPS. We had a much more peaceful election. Despite the drop in loss of lives, other violations such as assault, intimidation, harassment, voter bribery, and misuse of children in elections are still a grave concern. One particular disturbing observation is the increase in civilian misuse of firearms, which contributed to at least 70% of the deaths and assaults reported. A new phenomenon not previously observed was the violence inside tallying centers, which majorly affected election officials. We'll be speaking to that later as well. Another positive note in the report is the level of tolerance and restraint exhibited by members of the public throughout the election process, and especially at the very sensitive time of the announcement of the presidential results. Compared to 2017, there was a substantial drop in civilian unrest and violence as a result of the electoral process and presidential results. This in spite of the highly polarized campaign environment. And at this point, we applaud the NCIC for promoting peace and engaging in very active peace messaging. Thank you very much.
And not just to defend the rights that affect us, but also the rights of others. Because if you see your neighbor's land being taken away against the law, if you see the rights of a person with disability being taken away, if you see a building that does not have a ramp so that people with disability can access it, it is your rights as well that are being violated. When one of us is violated, all of us are violated.
Meanwhile, human rights activists from Lamu County have condemned the prescription of family planning methods to young girls. Now, according to the chairman, Lamu Child Protection Initiative, Abdulaziz Abdu, making family planning methods accessible to girls of young age encourages promiscuity among teenagers, exposing them to risks of sexually transmitted diseases. The activists, however, say there is a need to expose that age group to sex education as a way of teaching them the risks of engaging in sex at a young age.
Tunatumia zile dawa za kujidunga ile sipate mimba. Hiyo inakuwa kwao ni fursa kubwa kufanya mapenzi kiolela, kwa sababu akiondoa hofu kwamba hatopata mimba, ambapo hiyo ni hatari zaidi, kwa sababu pale anapoendelea zaidi kuna uwezekano kupata magonjwa. Matatizo yote yanarudi kwa wazazi. Kunje samaki angali mbichi. Mtoto kamfundisha tabia njema, mtoto kamfundisha awe na dini, mtoto akamfundisha awe na utamaduni na sharia za kimila zetu na desturi.
Bado wata engage kwa sex. So ni kuwaelimisha kuhusu safe sex. Manake hata ukiwaambia wasifanye sex, bado watoto watafanya. Na bado mimba tuko na cases za teenage pregnancies. Kila mara ukienda maternity wasichana underage wajifungua. Ni kumaanisha maybe wazazi wasema hawasiwaambie kuhusu contraceptives na bado watoto waji-engage kwa unsafe sex.
Now, a report on systematic investigation into the plight of Kenya migrant domestic workers in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has been launched by the Commission on Administrative Justice. This follows an increase of cases on mistreatment of domestic workers from Kenya. From the report, a number of recommendations were pointed out, including the Kenyan Embassy in Saudi Arabia to increase awareness of the need for migrant domestic workers to register with the embassy upon arrival.
Kuna siku madam akasahau kufunga freezer. Alikuwa ameua sijui ni Ethiopia. Alikuwa amemkatakata akamkausha kwa freezer. So vile nilipata hiyo maiti nikastuka. Na si kusema kwa sababu ningesema ningeuawa. Nikaendelea tu kufanya kazi nikiteswa hivyo sikuli. Nilikuwa tu na survive na strong tea peke yake. Even pads nilikuwa natumia my pant kama pads, sabuni nilikuwa naokea humo.
Another gap is at the immigration you have mentioned. Now, anybody going to Saudi Arabia, for example, is supposed to have undergone pre-departure training. Does the immigration at the airport have a record to show that this person going to Saudi Arabia to work went through a recognized pre-departure training program? So we have to work together, both at the immigration, foreign affairs, labor, and NITA, and all these agencies, so that we ensure that this is implemented. Otherwise, we shall be talking about it, but it will not be implemented. At the end of the day, when something happens there, the skunk will be on the foreign affairs.
NITA should give law to everybody. People are crying why they are being discriminated, that because they don't have a CP, KCP, they don't have standard 8 level, they cannot go to work. Who said somebody cannot work because does not have a certificate? That is discrimination. The discrimination of our girls starts from Kenya, starts from home. Somebody should note that. It does not start from Saudi Arabia. So please, when we are doing those laws and whatever, we should think these people, especially those who are impregnated during COVID time, there are many, more than 30,000. Where shall we throw them? We need them to work. If somebody in the world is ready to offer them job, look for a mechanism to get this person educated and get a job. Number 2, nobody asked why those girls, when they ran away, at whose cost. I am very sure if I tell you a practical thing here, take your mobile phone and crash it, you will not do that. Why do you think a Saudi Arabia person will pay for the service which they buy? No, they don't buy. They pay for the service. Even you, when you're asking for a maid to come from Nyeri or from Kakamega or wherever, you pay for the service. That's what they pay. They don't buy. If I tell you to step on your mobile phone, you will not. Why do you think this person pays a lot of money and take this housemaid to Saudi Arabia to mistreat her? That's a long word. We should not be discriminating these people. So there should be a law. When you are in the military or in police or any other place and you abscond duty, you have punishment. Those people who abscond duty, they should not be done.
County governments have been asked to establish shelters for the needy and elderly to protect them from suffering. Let's Show Them Love Initiative Coordinator Joseph Karanja says a considerable number of senior citizens are undergoing untold suffering in the villages and need provision of food, personal effects, medical care and counseling. Our reporter Chichi Josephine with that story.
Some people live, others survive, cooped up in a shanty in Nakuru County. Samson Kahiro and her wife, 70 years of age, endured life in a near-collapsing structure in Berea Village, Kabazi ward of Subukia sub-county. Interestingly, the family was surrounded by a neighborhood that is living in proper houses, but for them, even a toilet was a nightmare. For Mzee Kahiro and his grandchildren, it is a constant struggle to put food on the table.
Mimi ndio nakaa na wasasi wangu, maisha imekuwa ngumu, lazima uende kibarua ndio upate ya kukula, watoto wanahitaji pesa kwa shule, maisha inakuwa tu ngumu hivyo.
Joseph Karanja, Let's Show Them. The situation is worse for the elderly without dependents.
Na shida kubwa ambayo ilituguza sana ni wale wazazi ambao umeona hapa, hao wakongwe. Ukiona kama huyo Guka, jambo la aibu ambalo liko pale ni kwa sababu mtoto wake huyu wa kike, kitu cha aibu ni kwamba huyo msichana wake ndiye anambadilisha pampers.
The group donated food and non-food stuffs to the family and appealed to well-wishers to come to the rescue of the family by putting up a house and helping in placing their 4 children to school.
Pia nyumba umeona iko na mianya mingi sana, na ni kuonyeshana ya kwamba ule mzazi anaweza kuwa hata labda hana shida mingi sana, lakini mazingira ambayo yako ndio inamletea matatizo, anagonjeka, miguu yake inafura.
Local administration officials and the church have also been urged to look out for such people in villages and help them find timely assistance.
Mimi ningeomba tu all the well wishers, ama mtu yote mwenye ameguzwa na hii na the story ya hii mji, akuje tu awasaidie, intervene. Atujali ni kitu yote yenye utaguzwa, wewe tu ukuje utusaidie.
Chichi Josephine, TV 47.
Well, thank you, Chichi Josephine, for that report. Now, from Nakuru County, we move on to Migori, where Migori County has set aside 6 million shillings to curb the spread of neglected tropical diseases in the area. According to the County Director of Public Health, Kennedy Ombogo, it is the first time the bilharzia-borne county is setting aside money to deal with the spread of neglected tropical diseases, specifically bilharzia, that is becoming a threat to the residents. He says more and more health facilities in the area are reporting an increase in the number of bilharzia patients. Nyatike and Suna West sub-counties are reported to be the most affected by the disease due to their proximity to water bodies.
When we carried out a survey in 2014, we found out that 27% were infected with schistosomiasis. This could have been higher because we had treated, we had done prior treatment of the affected schools. So it's highly suspected that even right now, the percentage or rather the preference rates are most likely to be high. That's why we want to carry out granular mapping to map out all the areas which are infected and to determine the exact preference rates. Schistosomiasis occurs, all of bilharzia occurs along the water bodies, and Nyatike occurs along the lake.